and welcome back to another episode of the Nothing to Do podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, and shit, I need a fucking haircut. Your boy's looking hurt out here right now. I love my bar. You can never cheat on your barber. Real ones know this. You can never cheat on your barber. But I wish our schedules were more compatible. And shout out to my nigga Bodie, man, because you know he's been the homie cut my hair for like I don't even know, like 6-7 years now. But in the recent years he's found God, and his schedule with God interferes with usually my schedule with getting fresh. So, getting fly. So, I get out of work at like 5:30. And then by the time I can get to him, he has to go to church. And then he can come me by the time he gets back to church. But then it's already like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, yo, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. So fuck that. And then he doesn't cut on Saturdays because that's his family day. That's his God day. So, I'll get cut on Sunday. But Sunday's Mother's Day. Um, Whatever. Yeah. I got the NBA playoffs on right now. Shout out to my motherfucking Celtics. No. Okay, I called myself. Not my motherfucking Celtics. The fucking Celtics. All right. I'm not gonna hop on the bandwagon just yet. That's my home team. But you know, I just recently came out the closet as a Celtics fan. But swept the motherfucking Nets. Fuck Kyrie. Fuck KD. Fuck the Nets. They suck. They got a hard one with Milwaukee. But yeah, the Nets were always an overrated team. If Kyrie, I talked about this, like if Kyrie's not dropping 35 and KD's not dropping 40, they're not even gonna be in the game. They need that just to stay in the game. They need to do that. If they're gonna go all superstar, and they gotta show up, and they put the motherfucking clamps on Kyrie and KD. I don't think Kyrie dropped. He dropped under 20 in games 2 and 3, and then the rest really wanted a game 5. They had Jason Tatum foul out with like 3 minutes left, and the Nets almost did it, but they couldn't. Also, shout out to Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons has got to be the most wild pussy athlete I've ever seen in recent time. And I'm gonna preface this by saying I don't like someone in my position being that of like I don't play professional sports. The most competitive level of sports I've played was fucking D4 tennis in high school. That being said, this doesn't have to do with this level of player's ability. This has to do with his mental. And now he's getting surgery, which I don't think that surgery was a medical move. It was a PR move. But yeah, fuck Ben Simmons, yo. Like, how do you not? He did that whole holdout shit with the Phillies. He played like shit to end the year last year in the playoffs. Dog shit. Social media, the internet dragged his ass for the longest time. And yeah, they dragged him, right? And then he gets and then he holds out this year, right? For whatever reason, because he's being a baby. And then he gets traded to the Nets, and the Nets are down 2-0, and he was rumored, I think he was optimistic to come back for game 4, and they go down 3-0, and he's like, nah, psych, I'm going to sit this one out because we're down 3-0. And he said the headline that came out, right? The headline that came out, I'm a little sick right now, but that he had a mental block that morning. He woke up from for game 4 that triggered his back injury, and he couldn't play. Listen, he goes, if you are gonna sit out all 4 games of the playoffs after being rumored to be back around that timeline, after all the history that you had leading up into that moment, sort of your state of mind, your level of toughness, leading up to that moment, you do not show up to half court every game looking Met Gala ready. He looked flyer every night. He looked flyer the night before, every night approaching game 4. son, if your back is hurting to the point where you can't help your team at least scrape 1 or 2 games off the Celtics, you better come through in some fucking champion sweats without a haircut either. You gotta look like Jamal Murray. You saw Jamal Murray out there. He looked like he tore his ACL. Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was in a hoodie and some sweats. He looked like it was still 2020, and he was still like nobody told me it was 2022, and that the vaccines were out, and that there's no more mask mandates. Like your boy looked like he was still in his room playing Warzone for the last 2 years. That's how you gotta look like if you have a season-ending injury. My boy looked Met Gala ready. Game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4.
Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch.
Ain't that about a bitch? So yeah, when I say that Ben Simmons is wild pussy, yeah, he's a professional athlete, right? He's gonna achieve something I'll probably never achieve in my life. But that mentality, his mentality is like, what's his mentality? His mentality is like, it's like, it's like when you, it's like when you ever like you're ever beating somebody in 1-on-1, you know, whether it's basketball, tennis, you're playing them in Madden, FIFA, whatever it is, and they're supposed to be good, and then you're beating them, and then they start acting like they weren't trying when the game's almost over, and then they kind of just play it off like, oh, I didn't really care, like I wasn't trying, like that. That's the vibe that Ben Simmons gives off, and we can all relate to that, whether you're, you know, Michael Jordan or you're, you know, fucking, I don't know, Beetlejuice. Shout out Beetlejuice. Like, but like, yeah, he's wild buds, yo. But shout out to the Celtics for poetically sweeping Kyrie in the Nets, right? Um, and now they got the Bucks. The Bucks don't got Chris Middleton, which is a big uh defensive miss for him, or like they're gonna miss him defensively, I should say. Um, oh my god, my bad. I've been up since like 5 a.m. today. Today was grandparents' day where I work, and I don't know. I just got back from playing tennis with my boy Tom. Shout out Tom. Got to work on it this morning. I'm tired as shit, but I want to get this. You know, I want to get this recording in. I've been ready to get back on the mic. As you can see, ho, look what I got. That's a sign, baby. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, this is gonna flourish. I already said this episode 2, episodes 3, whenever I first recorded the video episode. And I just switched. I switched. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, look at that, baby. That shit beautiful, isn't it? That shit beautiful. Don't worry. There's more coming on these walls, but where was I? Um, yeah. Fucking here we go. I mean, the Celtics lost by 20, I think, game 1, then they won game 2. And they looked unbeatable the first half, but they were also living and dying by the 3 because they were still playing that same, like, I think they only scored like 35 points in the second half, but they were like they you know, the Celtics have the best defensive team in the regular season, or were in the regular season. So their defense definitely held it together, but they were living and dying by the 3, so they gonna need they need to figure out how to score down low in the paint in the mid range. But I'm gonna say Celtics in 6 on that one. I think game 3 is gonna be a big turning point for them. They're gonna figure out they're gonna figure something out in game 3. Um shit, man. In the meantime, the Red Sox are like the polar opposite from last year. It's unreal. Like we can't, like, we find ways to lose games now. I remember I think I came up here last week. I came here last week and I said, what did I say? Um, I said, I was looking at the wrong camera the whole time. I'm here. I said, I think what I said, like Tampa Bay and the Red Sox are gonna be. It's gonna be all AL East wild card. Tampa Bay Red Sox, Yankees are still suck. It's the I completely had it wrong. Aside from Toronto, at least right now, you know, it's only May, but it's like, yeah, like our team is dog shit. No one under The cleanup hitter um is batting on over 200. They're all under 200. We can't like literally three. It's like Devers, Bogarts, and JD are the only ones hitting right now on our team, and everybody else is just dog shit. Our pitching has surprisingly been okay. They've just been very unclutch. We had the lead. They were 0-5 in extra innings. Um, we've blown like a bunch of leads after the sixth inning, and I always decide to go to bed. Like we'll take the lead anytime after the sixth or seventh, and it's already like 9:30 by that point. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed. I'll wake up. I'll confirm the score. Make sure we close it out, and we didn't close it out every time, man. But but yeah, shout out to Big Les because I was getting into. Oh my God, Big Les. Yo, Big Les is the biggest fair weather bandwagon fan I've ever met in my life, and he's proud of it. He's he's proud of it. Yeah, he has no shame. Immediately jumped ship to Brady when he went to the Bucks. I was talking to him yesterday. He was like, I'll give it till about August, and if I see the Blue Jays about to close this out, then I'm gonna go for the Blue Jays. I was like, yo, bro, it's something. Nunca sufriendo, nunca sufriendo. Listen, man. What they say is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right? And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm half joking there, but Big Les, he knows I love him. It's my uncle there. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, he's funny. He makes me laugh. God damn. Oh my God, yeah. So I went to bed last night, and right before I went to bed, my cousin hit me up in the group chat and was like, yo, Kevin Samuels passed away. RP to Kevin Samuels. And he's like, it's funny. I've been seeing a lot of mixed stuff about him in social media. Because yeah, he was obviously like a very controversial personality. For those who don't know, Kevin Samuels was like that sort of like a relationship coach and image. He calls himself like a relationship coach and image consultant. He talks to both. He consults with both men and women, and he keeps it like he keeps it 92 plus 8 with his clients, so to speak. And he's fucking hilarious. And I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the stuff. I wouldn't say I disagree. I don't agree with necessarily his messaging and the way he goes about it, because it really dangerously like, you know, it's like very damaging, like the way he treats like women of color and the way he talks to them. But it's like at the same time, it's like, you know what it is when you sign up for him, and like these women call into him. It's not like that. I try to compare it to that. It came out recently too, and I've watched it, and again, it has its funny moment, but like I also disagree with this whole like there's this whole that whole red pill shit, right? Where it's just like a lot of shit about like just like masculinity and what it means, and it's like just like the very traditional and like hyper masculine way to be, or like high value, like the way they just like label like high value men, high value women, all that stuff. And it's just like there's stripping it down. Maybe it's because I don't like the word. I'm not necessarily a fan of the wording. It seems very damaging to like just people, and like just people in general, especially like women of color that are like calling. But at the same time, the whole thing is like, yo, these women are calling into the show, and he's like a no, not like that's. It's like, yo, you called. This is what you wanted to hear. He tells people what they don't want to hear, or he told people what they don't want to hear. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels, but like, he's fucking hilarious, and he keeps it real, yo. Like, I gotta play some of his highlights just cause. Just one.
I'm 5'3".
How much do you weigh?
That's none of your business. I told you I was fat.
Oh, okay. We don't play that shit on my channel. You get your big fat ass on somewhere then. I don't deal with you big sassy ass broads.
This don't kill my vibe. This don't kill my vibe.
If you think you can get out here and be like Danny's big ass, go knock yourself out. But I would be remiss to try to tell you, as an image consultant and as a person and a professional, that you can be 5'3" and weigh so much that you don't even want to tell somebody how much you weigh and think you're gonna get a man to marry you.
And that's that on that. You heard? Oh my god. But yeah, I compared a lot to like there's that podcast with those dudes in Miami. The thing with like men like this too, is just like, and he's older. He comes from a whole different generation, so it's a little bit different than the podcast I'm comparing it to. I forget the name of the podcast, and I rather not. I don't care. Some people may know what I'm talking about. Some don't. Don't. They had a moment that went viral recently. Like their whole vibe is like it's them two, and they bring like like 7 to 10 women on this like live show podcast, right? And they just talk about dating and relationships and what they look for in a man and things like that. And again, it's just like that very red pill, hyper masculine, like what like hoes and bitches and shit, whatever. And it's like there was one thing that went viral recently. Joe Budden called them out, which was what really gave it a lot of steam. Was like they were basically like, oh, I don't date black girls. Like I don't fuck with black girls, all this shit. Like I forget what the wording was. And it's just like, and like that, those dudes are so corny to me because it's just like, yo, you bring like your whole platform is bringing like women of color to your platform and like just to like degrade them and just like and I've seen some episodes. Some of those bitches really ain't shit. Like I'll say here, I don't care how damaging, how much of an asshole I sound. Some of them are batshit crazy and out of their mind. But the whole vibe is like they bring them on the show and then like they bait them, kind of not bait them, but like they ask them these questions that just immediately like they're ready to just like shit on them all the time. And it's I don't know. My head's a little cloudy right now. I wish I could articulate myself a little better on this, but it's like, yo, that's corny. Like you bring like all these women on your show, and then like you just shit on them, and then you talk about like, oh, I don't date black women. Like they're two black men, which was crazy. And the thing about men like that, especially those two, because they're a little bit younger, I would say they're probably my age, maybe a little bit older. It's just like those men, like they like you could tell like they were dweebs. They were straight up dweebs back in the day, and like they used to get no play, and they just like they made money. They made money, and they made money, and they got in shape, and they started looking good or whatever. And like they play the whole alpha shit and like the alpha, that the whole alpha male, and they shit on beta, whatever betas and this, that, and the third. But it's just like you can see it in their like you can see like, yo, you're a cornball. Like I can sniff it from here. I don't even have to be in it. I'm looking at you through a TV screen. Right. But with Kevin Samuels is a little bit different. Partly because of generation. And a lot of it too is like he shits on men too, which is funny. Like I want to play, he has this shit is mad funny. Like,
Hi.
Hi, I'm. I don't know what your topic is tonight, but I just.
How old are you? How old are you?
Guess.
bang.
Don't play with me. Guess these nuts.
Guess these fucking nuts. Oh my god. He literally like he'll just hang up on somebody and like, yo, pobrecito right here too. Like
Working out.
No, you ain't working out your fat.
That's true.
See, this is why I have these conversations, because a lot of this stuff gets lost in minutes. And you're a quitter. You're underperforming and you lack ambition. You need to go enroll in martial arts or boxing somewhere and let somebody knock the shit out of you. You got a big dick.
Oh my god. So yeah, Kevin Samuels does not pull his punches. And I will agree that there is a level of damage that his platform probably has had or has had in the recent years or however long he's been doing it. I respect his realness. I respect what he did within the context of what he does. it's easy to look at these videos in a vacuum with no context and just be like, "Oh, this guy's a fucking asshole," which was more or less my first impression when his videos came to light, like when he started getting like famous and going viral and all that. But shit, man, that's wild. Like it was a sudden death, and like no one deserves to go that soon. And he was clearly like on the up and up. And shout out to you, R.I.P. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. I know I'll probably get a lot of heat from some friends for that, but yo, he if anything, he brought a lot of laughs. So yeah, R.I.P. to you. Um, yeah, it's fucking wild. And what's recently been going? I just started following this. Um, this whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, like, just has been going insane recently, and yeah, that's like another, like, it's for those unaware of what's going on. It's so Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, their trial is going on. Amber Heard, I think I don't know if this is an oh no, this is a defamation trial because Amber Heard dropped an op-ed on the Washington Post talking about abusive relationship she was in, and it was around the same timeline that her and Johnny Depp were married, and because of that, Johnny Depp lost a bunch of roles. They were supposed to reboot the Pirates franchise again. He was supposed to show up as Captain Jack Sparrow. He lost. Disney dropped him for that. Um, there's some newspaper called him a wife beater. He's suing them too for defamation or whatever it would be. But yo, this couple, man, it's funny. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they're like the ratchet Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. They're the Walmart brand version of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. They're the Pawtucket version. Like there's if Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are Providence, then Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are Pawtucket or Central Falls. Um, they're like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively if they smoke meth. Like in that episode of Breaking Bad where Jesse has to collect money from these two meth heads. And the whole episode, he's in the house with these two meth heads, like trying to get the money from them. And in the end, the wife smashes his meth head boyfriend's head and kills him with an ATM machine. That's the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are that version of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in the Twilight Zone. But yo, man, Johnny Depp, I guess he's with like he was going through it, but now this trial's going, it's going underway, and it's not looking too good for your girl Amber Heard, your girl Baha Miller. For those who know who Baha Miller, you a real one. If you don't, Baha Miller. Shout out Baha Miller. But yeah, yo, it's like a mess. She had pictures. Where do I start? Like she had pictures of her, of like marks she had on her face and like makeup she would use to make it up, and like they brought the type of makeup to court, and then that makeup company decided that it was like, actually, we didn't drop that foundation or cover up or whatever the fuck it is until like 2018, and this whole thing happened in 2017, so there's no way she could have used our makeup, right? And all the witnesses are like Johnny Depp's witnesses are like yeah, like I mean, he would get pretty lit, but like he was always pretty cool, and I've never seen him like go crazy or nothing. I think one of Johnny Depp's security guards was like, yeah, Amber Heard straight duffed him out once. Mama, like straight duffed him the fuck out and like left him a black eye. And yeah, she was it's not looking good. And she was Johnny Depp is now saying that she was the abusive one.
Go in the bathroom, get your clothes on, and get your ass in the fucking tub. And come eat this fucking pussy, nigga.
Yeah, so that's basically like the synopsis of of that relationship. It seems like when it's as this trial unfolds, like she was it's I don't know, it's pretty wild, but it's just like as this unfolds and as like the court of public opinion is coming back to Johnny Depp's side, is this one of like the first wins for men in the Me Too era? And am I also, on a side note, and am I also slowly starting to sound like these red pill podcasters who just like talk about like how bad men have it and how good women how good women have it and all that stuff? Because I really hope that's not the case, and if it is, whatever. But it's just like this whole thing with men. Oh my god, my nose is running as shit. Um, like in these sexual, these sexual assault cases and sexual abuse cases and all that stuff. It's just like there is no redemption, and that's another question that I wanted to kind of talk about too. It's just like where do we draw, like we as human beings, like we like to believe in like second chances, right? And that everybody deserves redemption on some level. But when it comes to how this has been unfolding over the past 7, 8 years, when it's really like, I think basically since the Bill Cosby scandal is what really set this off, right? In the court of, there's like no bouncing back from this. It seems like I feel like Johnny Depp might be the first one, right? Because look, let's see, we have like Louis C.K. who's back doing stand up, but on his own platforms. Like, there's no way Netflix or anybody else is gonna pick him up, right? He's doing his own shit and he's got his core fans, but like, there's no way he's gonna have a season 5 of Louis unless he puts all his money down and buys his rights from FX or something. And that show was terrific, by the way. That show was amazing. Who else? Even Chris Brown, right? Who put his hands on the beautiful, lovely, divine Rihanna, right? And that was like 15 years ago, I think, right? 15 years ago, 10 years ago at least. And it's just like he still gets shit for that. Who else? Like, and now we have like Aziz Ansari he had a bounce back a little bit, but that's also because like the details came out and that was more of just like a bad date. But it's just like, where do you draw the line with redemption? Like, I think for me personally, like actual rape is kind of like the unforgivable. Even putting your hands on someone is pretty on a woman is pretty unforgivable. But I feel like even that, like, there could be a statute of limitations within the court of public opinion as long as you've cleaned up your act. But it's not like that comes from nowhere either, right? It's like I'm trying to play the devil's advocate, right? And extend an olive branch, right? Because nobody's perfect, and that always comes from like it doesn't come. You deciding to like physically assault or sexually assault women is not like it doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from a fucked up place, right? I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying. I'm not even necessarily saying I forgive it. I mean, yeah, I guess I do, but like, I don't know. It's like a tough line, but it's just like it's also the whole thing. Like when it comes to these celebrities, it's just like they lose their livelihood, they lose their whole career, they lose right, they lose everything. Like, and that's kind of, is that fair? Is it fair? Should you not put? I'm kidding. Should you not put your hands on a woman? As the great Bill Burr says, he's once said, he's like, there's plenty there's plenty of reasons to hit a woman. You just don't do it, right? I can name you 5 right now. I'm just not. I won't. You just don't. It's just something you don't do. But I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Um, the way this, especially this specific trial, is unraveling, and yeah, Amber Heard, she's looking her shit's looking weak right now. It's Team Johnny Depp all the way, even though he was that boy was sauced up. That boy used to be sauced up. That's the thing too. It's just like when somebody's that drunk and that fucked up all the time, like how much can you or do you remember about the about your relationship and about that period in your life? I feel like that's tough too. I don't know. There's so much gray area in this. Part of me wishes I recorded this episode tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, where my head would have been a little bit of a better. I'm literally yawning for like as I do this, but yeah. What else do I got for y'all? I don't got much for y'all. I'm just checking in. I'm trying to, yeah. I know when I'm getting better on this show is that's when the episode's nearing its end. But hey, look again, that's there. I'm thinking of maybe putting a shelf there. Hang up some pop and I got more artwork to hang up. But little by little, oh my goodness, little by little, little by little. Um, shout outs. I got shout outs. Oh, shout out to Don Solo. Dije Don Solo. Don Solo. It was my grandfather's birthday yesterday, May 5th. We went and cut him a cake. He's got to be like 85 now, I think. 86, 87. I don't know. But boy still gets up for work every day. And then works when he gets home. And shout out to him. God blessed him with another year of life. And I love you, Papa. What else? Shout out to Jeremy Pena, by the way, who I didn't realize was a Rhode Island native. He moved to Rhode Island from Santo Domingo when he was 9. He's on the Houston Astros right now, killing it. His average is nothing to go crazy for, but he has like 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's hit like 2 walk-offs already. And he's a Providence's very own. So shout out to him. He's representing PVD. Um, so on that note, I think I'm gonna end that here. And until next time, you dirtbags, holla.